Hey guys, my name is Heather Lindsey.
And my name is Cornelius Lindsey.
And I'm so excited that you landed on Life with the Lindseys.
This is so exciting. This gives us an opportunity to share our life with yours.
Yes, we're going to be talking about everything from entrepreneurship to ministry to your purpose to why you are here, family, parenting, relationships, marriage, sex, you name it. We are talking about it.
So thank you so much for joining us today with Life with the Lindseys. Enjoy it.
You look cozy.
I know. I feel cozy.
I'm going to cozy up in this.
It's beginning to look a lot like Christmas. Where we go.
So how about I was singing Christmas songs to the kids, right?
Yeah.
You know what they said?
What?
Nobody sings that song. You're old fashioned.
What song were you singing?
Jingle bells.
Well, I mean, nobody. I mean, it depends on how. Were you doing like the jingle bells, jingle?
No. Jingle bells, jingle all the way. Oh, what fun it is to ride.
No, we don't sing that.
Okay, I did growing up.
Oh, well.
That was a really big deal. Okay.
It was Santa Claus.
Okay, well, you had the more.
Go straight to the ghetto.
I did not know that version.
Pick up your reindeer.
So we want to welcome you guys back to Life with the Lindseys. We got to talk about last week, babe. We got to talk about last week because I feel like we need to address this. Let's burn the highlight reel. Let's talk about that today.
I'll do it because you want to, but I don't like addressing stuff.
I think people have this preconceived notion that couples.
I don't care what they think.
I know, babe.
I know, but I'm doing this, baby, because you asked me. And
thank you.
I'm cool. The
men aren't like that though.
I didn't. Okay, all the men who hit me were like, "Yo, I appreciate that." Like, I had one. I told you about the one guy. He hit me up. He's like, my wife came in. She's always talking about your podcast. I guess this one really bothered her because she said y'all were arguing and blah blah blah. and then I just didn't. That I didn't. She said she didn't like the way that I guess I was talking to you, and so he was like, "Yo, I want to listen to it." She was like, "What? You actually want to listen to her podcast?" So he listened to it, and he actually ended up watching it. And when he watched it, he said he was like, "Yo, like this is real." So he hit me up on Instagram. He was like, "This was actually real.
It's real."
He's like, "And I appreciate you being real." He's like, "I actually went to my wife and was like, I didn't understand what you didn't like about that because I wish we could have those conversations." But the guys were like, "Yo, that's." Even dude from the health food store, he was like, "Yo, I listened to your last podcast. I thought it was good." Yo, the guys thought it was good.
But women are just like, "Oh my gosh, I'm praying for your marriage. Y'all are about to get divorced."
They're probably single anyway. They're probably single, sleeping on an air mattress. I don't care what they think.
But I think social media has created this life, right, where they think couples only take cute pictures and cute Christmas photos and have cute selfies together, but they don't have those hard conversations. And that's false. Yes, we post the happy parts, right? Mm-hmm. But for the first time, we posted a discussion that we had that, what got a little intense, but it wasn't even like,
agree.
Right. But we were saying the same thing.
Yeah.
But I feel like
just in different ways, communicated differently.
Exactly. And that's okay because we're different.
Absolutely.
But I feel like some people come up with conclusions then. So they're like, "Oh my gosh, I'm nervous for y'all." And I'm thinking like our marriage has never been so strong in our entire marriage of 10 years, right? And it's like you gathered all of that.
It's the women.
You gathered, but the week before you did a poem. Hold on.
I did a poem.
That poem didn't get as many comments as this discussion that
because
we had.
Because people like drama. People are addicted to it. They like it. It feeds them, and it is just an indication of what's going on in their own soul. That's the reason why I'm like, who gives a flying crap about what these people think?
But honestly, it's not just about what they think. I feel like we need to teach we got to burn that because it's not real.
So I burn what?
The highlight reel. Yeah. This image, this fantasy.
Everybody likes fake. The church likes fake. The church likes fake. And I think that's what pisses me off as a pastor so much because, if I get real, then it's a problem. But if the people get real, I've left God. But if the people get real, then it's supposed to be okay. It's okay. And then they say, well, you're judge the highest, and all that bull crap. But then it comes around, I can't be real, because the church itself, inside of it, I won't say the bride, but I'm talking about mainly in church culture. We have become so addicted to false and phony.
Oh yeah.
Now that's what we have to be. And so now when you see something that is real, you like, oh no, I don't like, I can't deal with that.
I need peaceful. I need this. I need that.
Everything is not peace. Everything's not peaceful. We have conversations. Thank God we do. Like it took us a minute in our marriage, but one thing I can appreciate about our marriage now is we have difficult conversations.
Oh,
and after difficult conversations,
we good.
We be
like, baby, you want to go get some food?
I mean, we had bomb sex after that. I mean, I thought it was like,
baby, really?
Whatever. I mean, I'm just saying, like, who's? Hey, so you ashamed? You ashamed?
No, I just think
ashamed of what we know about. You ashamed of this thing? But I'm just saying, like, the idea that it can't be real is so far from me, and I am so tired of fake. I'm so tired of phony. I'm so tired of like this other crap that like I want it as far away from me. If I can't do it now where I can be myself and I can be real, I don't want to do it, because I spent too many years, even as a pastor in the beginning stages, I spent too many years trying to conform to an image of what everybody else said I should be.
That's so good.
Like this is how my pastor was when I grew up. Well, I'm not your pastor.
But hold on, that's him. What you saw. You saw the highlight reel.
Exactly. And then when he got home, he started beating his wife. Granted, I don't know what he was doing. I'm just saying. But then, when that started happening, it's like, oh, then all of a sudden,
so good,
when
baby.
you found out that your leader was human,
come on,
then it's like, then it just destroyed the perfect picture, the highlight reel that you had inside of your head when you found out they were human.
And I feel like people have that highlight reel about us.
Oh,
right?
That's the crazy thing, because like we share our problems. We've
just never walked through it publicly, and I'm glad we posted that, babe.
You didn't want to.
You're right.
I told you. You're right. I was like, forget these tadpoles.
No. So I didn't want to when we were in it, but afterward, I was like, you know what? People need to see that. They need to see this fantasy of us just smiling and taking pictures and everything's so great. And we're traveling, we're preaching. Y'all, we have hard conversations. Our marriage goes through hard seasons. Yeah. We go through seasons where we didn't like each other. Okay. We went through seasons where we're like, are we going to make it? Yeah. But then we also have beautiful seasons that we go through where we're like, man, this is heaven on earth. Right. There's hits and valleys, seasonal. Right? It's seasonal, but we've worked through those things and we have a good, healthy marriage. And I want y'all to know that, like, if you see a healthy marriage that's good, guess what? They went through hell. They went through hell to pay the price for it. And they're still standing.
Come on, Honda.
It's hard. And I feel like this is why people get divorced, because they have this idea, this is not a generalized statement, but I'm just saying in general, you have this fantasy of what marriage is going to be. Mm-hmm. And then when you walk into it, you realize the cute pictures on Instagram are a tiny little portion of a huge picture. Mm-hmm. And then you put all these expectations onto your spouse that he cannot meet. Mm-hmm. And you be like, he ain't it. He ain't got no vision. I'm done.
That's why she's still single.
I'm just saying. Or whichever side, right?
Probably ain't single.
I'm just saying.
Probably ain't single. She is.
I'm just saying, I feel like people have a fantasy world. And if we don't burn that thing down, we should be thankful for those hard conversations.
Absolutely.
We shouldn't be like, oh, you guys are falling away from God because you had a hard conversation. No, I'm
so madly in love with him. The crazy thing is, he's so madly in love with us.
I know. Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
He's so madly in love with us.
And we didn't have to earn it.
I actually had somebody who sent me that message. And it was like, it grieved my heart when it grieved my heart for your marriage. And then she sent me like some scriptures on marriage, and I couldn't help it. So like I looked at her page, and she's like, I mean, she's single. She's single as a bear out in the woods by himself. And I'm thinking to myself, like, do you honestly think that I would take advice from, number one, a stranger, but then number two, from a single woman? Like, you single, you get married, be married for a couple of years, have some kids,
be married for 10 years and then holler at us.
Come back and talk to me about what you think I should do. But until then, I care more about a
cat playing with yarn.
I actually got a new
desert.
One. I actually have a new one. I care more about a bear pissing in the woods.
Okay.
And I do about your opinion. I'm growing.
You're growing.
I'm growing, because it used to be in the past, it was
long
care
walk.
more about
a cat playing with yarn in the middle of the Sahara
you got
Desert.
the desert right this time.
Yeah.
Than I do about
Than
your
I do
opinion.
about your opinion.
But now it's I care more about a bear pissing in the woods.
Being your wife, he's not joking. He really does not care what anybody thinks about him.
That's why like even when it comes to stuff like I think we should respond to that. Or I'm not saying this time. Again, I'm with you.
It's just a topic. I think it's a general,
a good topic to talk about. But like when people are like, we should do that, and I have to check myself. Like, you know what? I don't have anything in my life I need to prove to anybody.
Yeah,
I don't have anything in my life I need to clarify with anybody. It's like if I have to spend my life trying to clarify who I am or what I do or what I've done, anything like that you have heard, then you're just not somebody I need in my life. And I just I had the girl who went down and she was like, and this is the reason why I have to unfollow you. And I thought to myself, like, Chuck, I didn't ask you to follow me. I didn't do a PSA like, oh, could you follow me? Like, if you never sent me the message, I don't think I ever would have known that you existed.
Let's take a break real quick. Now, you guys, life can be super stressful even under normal circumstances. And I think, babe, you can attest to this, that 2020 has challenged even the most difficult times of life. Now, you need a stress relief that goes beyond the quick fixes, and that's Headspace.
Now, Headspace is your daily dose of mindfulness in the form of guided meditations in an easy-to-use app. Headspace is one of the only meditation apps advancing the field of mindfulness and meditation through clinically validated research. So whatever the situation, Headspace really can help you feel better. Overwhelmed? Headspace has a 3-minute SOS meditation for you.
That's
you need
so
some
nice.
help falling asleep? Well, Headspace has wind down sessions their members swear by. And for parents, Headspace even has morning meditations you can do with your kids.
I love
Headspace's approach to mindfulness can reduce stress, improve sleep, boost focus, and increase your overall sense of well-being. Headspace is backed by 25 published studies on its benefits, 600,000 5-star reviews, and over 60 million downloads.
Nice.
Headspace makes it easy for you to build a life-changing meditation practice with mindfulness that works for you on your schedule, anytime, anywhere. I especially like to use Headspace when I'm in the sauna. Everybody knows me and know I like going to the sauna, and it's so relaxing. It's very relaxing. And I mean, just when I'm sitting outside, this is fall right now, so it's just really perfect down here in the South. Just sit out and just really listen to it, and it puts you in a great headspace.
I love it.
You deserve to feel happier, and Headspace is meditation made simple. Go to headspace.com/LWL. That's headspace.com/LWL for a free 1-month trial to access to Headspace's full library of meditations for every situation.
I love it.
This is the best deal offered right now. Head to headspace.com/LWL today.
Okay. And we're back. I don't understand why people feel like they need to send a message to let you know
that you unfollow me.
And I don't know you.
I don't know you.
I don't know you. That's weird,
Just
right?
leave.
It's okay. You can quietly leave. But again, I feel like there's this perfect picture in their head. And what we do is we judge people based on that perfect picture. And then we look at certain couples and we're like, oh, their goals. Whatever goal couple that you're saying you have, they go through conflict.
Mm-hmm. Remember when we first got married and we had those couples who we were like, remember we used to always look up to them. We used to be like, man, like I wish our marriage was like that. And
then they got like divorced.
Divorced. We was like, God damn,
I thought y'all was perfect. Like, wait, y'all divorced? How y'all get divorced?
How y'all get a divorce? What happened? For real?
Like, how y'all divorced? Like, we were looking up to y'all.
And we were barely hanging on by a thread.
Burly
hanging on by a thread. We was like, we don't know. Like, they just seem so perfect.
But that was my issue. When I first came into ministry, I felt like the generation before us painted the perfect picture of the perfect family.
Yeah.
And they didn't let us into their personal lives. Yeah. Unless something, came out somehow, some way. But in general, you didn't know what was going on in their personal lives. It was very separated. You didn't know how human they were. And now this generation of preachers shows how human they are. Mm-hmm. And people are like, well, no, you're supposed to be perfect. So you want me to live up to a standard that you yourself cannot keep. Mm-hmm. And that's not fair.
And I won't do it.
No, definitely
Jesus
not.
died for you. I didn't.
And he's our great example. I agree. Amen.
I'm just saying, I ain't getting on no cross for him. I love people, and I'm willing to serve them. I love them.
I mean, you're a
I care
pastor.
for
You
them,
preach to them.
all those things. And yes, I have a very pastoral heart when it comes to people, just when it comes to the nonsense of expectations, people's expectations. Like
Yeah.
the only one who I need to answer to is God.
Yeah.
The only thing I owe anybody is my love for them. But my love for you is not an explanation. My love for you is not trying to listen to why you don't like this. My love for you is not any of that crap. Like my love for you is the fact that I love you. That's it.
Yeah.
But
I think people, especially women, we love that fantasy. Because when we first got married, I had a fantasy of what marriage was going to be like. Remember?
I always had a fantasy that it was going to always be like this.
It was going to be like this. It was going to be
like, I'm bursting your fantasy bubble.
Yeah, you're like, your fantasy bubble's not real. He's like, this is real. I'm going to give you the real.
It's conflict.
And I used to be like, what? You know, and I was so shocked when we first got married because, you know, you watch the movies, you have this expectation, like he's going to sweep me off my feet and bring me flowers every week and massage my feet every single night. And you just have this idea, this picture of what you think it's going to be like. And then when you get into it, you're like, wait, this is not the fantasy I created in my head. Mm-hmm. And I remember even way before we met, I remember dating somebody and you know, he was, I guess, watching me from a distance. So he created this perfect image of who I was in his head. And then when we started dating, he was like, wait, you're not as perfect as a person that I thought you were. And I'm like, what are you talking about? There's no such thing as a perfect person.
Right.
When you get close to people, you begin to see who they really are. And together you guys work through conflict. You work through those different things. Obviously, that was a very short relationship, but I just learned that from a distance, it always looks glamorous. Mm-hmm. And it's like going to that 5-star restaurant, right, babe? You go and they're serving you the food, but you have no idea that the server just got cussed out by the cook in the back and they're dropping food on the ground. Like you don't know the hustle and bustle in the kitchen, the yelling, the cussing,
that's the kitchen experience.
Yeah, the kitchen experience.
It's just like serving at a church.
Absolutely.
It's like serving at a church because when you, there was one restaurant in Georgia that I used to work at and I frequented that restaurant. And talking about the kitchen experience, I frequented the restaurant. And when I ate as a customer, my experience was always embellished.
Yeah.
And then I started working there as a servant. And, you know, as a patron, when I went in, I sat down, I got my rolls. Mm-hmm. They were always hot. They were always butter. If I didn't like them, I sent them back. If there was, if I had water stains on my glass, I sent it
all
back.
about you.
It was all about me. It was all about me. Then I became a server, and then I went back to the kitchen, and I noticed how when the steak fell on the thing, and then the cooks cussed out the servers because they weren't picking up the food on time, and then the manager came in, and the manager he's cussing out this person, and like we went through all of that stuff in the back, but then by the time we walked out, it was like, oh. Everybody, I mean, all the patrons, like the whole idea was whatever issues you had, you left those back in the kitchen. And then you're going to serve the patrons, serve the patrons, serve the patrons. And same way with the church. I went to a church for years.
Yeah.
Or I don't want to say years. probably about 2 years. About 2 years
before you started serving.
And then I started serving. Then I started working. And then when I worked for the church, I worked, for the pastor. And then at that point, you get a chance to kind of see what happens behind the scenes. It was like, well, this doesn't really match what the kind of experience that I got, the picture that I created in my head.
Come on.
Because here's the thing. Here's the thing. I blamed it on the pastor because in my immaturity, I blamed it on him, not realizing that somebody had to set up all the chairs that were neat. Like there was an organizational structure that had to go on that I didn't understand as just a congregant. Because when I got there, my expectation was it's going to be a good temperature. The chair's going to be set for me. The worship is going to be good. The preaching is going to be good. I'm going to do everything.
You just showed up.
I show up and I'm good. Everything's already set up. But then behind the scenes, I understood why the pastor was always stressed out because this wasn't working right and that wasn't working right.
And the sound went out again.
And the sound went out again. And we're still trying to keep it perfect for the people. And we've created this perfect thing. And one thing I have resigned from being is a professional actor for people.
Come on, babe.
Could we hashtag?
You better.
Not no more.
You said a professional. Repeat that.
Professional actor for people. I refuse to do it.
And I feel like when you give people that real part, they're like, no. I need the fake from you. I need you to continue to feed me the fake because I can't stomach the fact that life's not perfect. But it ain't perfect in your life.
It ain't.
You
so jacked up, you ain't know what you don't even know what in the world to do. You so
But the reality is we're all jacked up.
We
right?
are.
We are. All of us. I am.
For his grace and his mercy.
Come on.
Yeah.
You are. We're all jacked up. We're all working out our salvation with fear and trembling.
Your marriage is probably jacked up. And isn't it something? Because I actually had a guy who said this. He said, my wife was ranting and raving about he said his wife was ranting about us talking on the podcast. He said, but the only thing I thought in my head was, well, I wish you were, well, he said he actually said this to her, which started a bigger conversation.
Well,
he actually said to her, well, I wish you were this concerned about our problems.
Woo.
And I was like, you know what, brother? I told him, I said, I'm proud of you for stepping up and for actually saying something. Because I feel like what happens is we put stuff under the rug and we don't want to deal with stuff. We want to deal with everybody else's stuff. We want to be good judges for everybody else.
Because we're outside
and then
looking
we want to be a good attorneys for ourselves. But I was like, I'm glad you did. He was like, yeah, it really made her mad because it made her question. Like she asked him like, well, you know, who do you think you are to tell me I don't look at our marriage? I'm always concerned about our marriage. He's like, no, you don't. He's like, you don't even realize that. Like, I'm pissed off. Like, I want to leave you right now.
Dang.
And he had that discussion with her. Dang. And she claimed like, I didn't know any of this. And he's like, exactly. Cause you don't pay attention to me.
Dang.
You pay attention to your phone. You pay attention to this. You pay attention to everybody else's life. Like, you know more about Red Table Talk and what goes on in Will and Jada's life than you do our own marriage. And so you need to get yourself together.
Can I sip this non-existent tea?
Sip it. Sip the thing. Sip the doggone. Hashtag sip the thing.
Right? Can we just take a break real quick and come back to that? Okay, we're back. And that was intense. That's good though.
But they need to happen though, right, babe?
You do. You've got to.
I love those times.
Yeah. Oh,
they're
no.
not fun.
Oh, no.
But they're so necessary.
Have we not grown like crazy through every single one?
Every single one of them.
Every single one.
Because we learn something more about each other.
Exactly.
I'm glad we're different.
Yeah.
And I'm glad we accept the fact that we're different.
But it makes it so fun.
It does, because we are different.
We're never
and we don't
bored.
have to pretend to be anybody else. It's like, no, I don't want to do that. Why you want to do it? But we have fun. Like because you're different than I am. Like you pull me out of my comfort zone. Yeah. You allow for me to do. I'm serious. Yeah. Like all the places we've been in all the world, you know, and half the stuff we've done. I would never ride up the road to Hana. I wouldn't do that.
Like our conversation last night about the multi-unit apartments. It was like midnight, and I was like,
I ain't by the time about it. I was like,
we need to find a property manager for our multi-unit property. Like, I'm going, and you're like, all right, Heather, you're doing a lot right now.
It's nighttime. If it's past 9 o'clock, I ain't got nothing. I have nothing else to offer the day.
That's when I'm trying to download. I know. I gotta find a better time.
That ain't it. You better catch me when I get into bed about 7:30.
Right.
Right now, that ain't it.
But you know what else I realized? I'm a perfectionist.
This thing's getting hot.
Yes, take it off, baby. Come on.
Now, I was at lunch and I got some tomatoes.
Where?
You know what I'm This thing's right there.
Fine.
Got tomato stains all over my shirt, so I was eating a salad and tomato juice splattered all over my shirt.
All good.
Appreciate it.
So this perfectionist thing, right? I want to talk about that real quick. Ooh. So I'm a perfectionist. Yeah. And it's so
an overcoming perfectionist.
Right. I'm overcoming it. But I've been like this for most of my life. Yeah. And it's like, I like a pretty picture. Yeah. I like everything, but I'm like that in my own life. I want everything to be perfect. I want everything to be organized. I get stressed out when it's not. And then I probably stress you out. Like this morning, I was trying to tell you, I need to organize your desk because it's stressing me out.
I was like, yo, just leave my desk alone. My desk is real. It's the way I want it.
I just want to organize it.
Yeah, it has grapes right there. It has some chips, but like that stuff is everywhere I want it. It was some cookies.
It was really stressing me out. And so just like, I like a perfect picture. And then like, I wish I could just leave the house and not care. You know, people like leave with like a hat on. Like I get dressed every day. I don't know if you notice that, like every single day.
I'm glad you do, because you don't just walk around looking frumpy and stuff.
I just wish I didn't care sometimes, right? Because
I'm glad you do care.
Really, that's encouraging.
I mean, absolutely. I don't feel like because it's like when you get dressed up, you feel better. Yeah, you feel better about yourself because you actually accomplished something for the day. Yeah, I mean, but instead of just walking around just looking frumpy all the time, like you actually get up and you do something. I appreciate that.
I think there's like this perfectionist, but I do take that in with my walk with the Lord. Like I can be hard on myself, right? And I know we've talked about this before in past podcasts, but just because I paint a quote unquote perfect picture does not mean that I expect for everybody to be perfect, right?
Yeah.
And I feel like there's this thing that's like, oh, well, your expectations, Heather, are too high, like for what people want to do. It makes them feel like they can't
reach that.
But that's not my goal. My goal is I'm that hard on myself.
Yeah.
And you know me, babe, when I start something, I don't quit. Like I go hard, I study, I learn, I do what I got to do. I don't quit. I keep going. And I was talking to my assistant Ashay about it. She's like, I can't believe you've done 320, some days of 365. Like you didn't quit. I was like, I don't quit, and I can be hard on myself. And I think, there's times I project that too when I'm preaching and being really hard, but I feel like that's how God made me, right?
I think a lot of it has to deal with trauma.
Yeah, that's true.
Because typically the perfectionist is hiding. Wants to hide something because it becomes like perfectionism becomes like a numbing mechanism. It's like I can if I can achieve these things, if I can do it just right, then maybe they won't leave me. I'll be approved of. I'll be this, I'll be that. So that perfectionist mindset
so good, baby.
I think it's rooted in just undealt with trauma. And one thing I'm so proud of you of is like, your lady, like you've been working on those things privately with yourself that allows for you to kind of deal with trauma, things that happened long before I was around.
Being adopted.
You were adopted. Yeah. Like you had a lot of things that happened. So it's like that trauma leads us to become a person that we're not. And people who are perfectionists, they're like, well, this is just how God made me. Well, not necessarily. This is what trauma has turned you into. But you don't have to be that person. But you got to deal with, I think, the underlying issues. You got to deal with why do I always have to have this perfect? Why do I always have to do it like this? Why can't, if it's off at all?
Oh, I can't handle that.
Why
like that's stressful.
That started to happen with me too, like for church. I'm like, why did the sound do that? Or why did this happen this? Or why weren't the worship singers up at a certain time? Why didn't this happen? And I've just gotten to this point where I'm like, you know what, y'all? I'm not going to drill in my head a sense of excellence or perfection that is not totally feasible every single time. I don't think it's healthy.
That's good. That's good, babe.
Like I don't mind if it's messed up. You make the pecan pie, and if it looks lopsided, it'll be all right.
Yeah.
It'll be okay because it still tastes the same. It doesn't look perfect, but I'm not going to toss out the whole pie just because it doesn't look a certain way.
I would toss out, I would.
I know.
I would toss out the whole pie. But I remember doing a study on people who had been adopted. And I want to say, was it Steve Jobs? I think Steve Jobs was adopted. And there was a few other very successful people, but they were saying a lot of people that have been adopted achieve, and they go really hard in achieving, and they don't quit because they are looking for, because again, that trauma they have not dealt with of not being enough, and that rejection and that abandonment. I can't abandon and reject myself. So if I go really hard, then I know I'll be okay. Yeah. It's like one of those defense mechanisms that you go through. So something that I've really been working on in this season is just not being so hard on myself and going with the flow. Going with the flow sounds crazy to me. That sounds crazy.
Yeah, I know.
And that's stressful to me too.
That's what I like to do on vacation. I'm like, no, let's just go with the flow. Like if we wake up that day and let's just say we want to
what I used to do, babe.
Girl, you would plan out a whole vacation. You'd be like, okay.
I would hand them an itinerary.
When we get there, we're going to go eat at this restaurant. And then after that, they're going to have fireworks at 9:00 p.m. And then
9:10, we're going to be going over here.
And then we're going to go to the room. Then we're going to wake up. We're going to have breakfast at 7:30. And I'm just like, Chica, I'm not doing none of this.
So I remember handing you an itinerary in Dubai. And you said, I hope you didn't prepay for all this stuff because I ain't going to half of it. I was like, what? We're in Dubai.
I don't care where we at. I'm not going to do that because I want to be able to wake up when I want to. Like I like that freedom. I want to wake up when I want to. I want to be able to, if that day I say, I want to spend all day at the pool. How about we spend all day at the pool? We can order food. We can order.
I guess I want the most out of my trip. So
that is the most out of the trip.
Plan and do things.
But in my mind, I think if it's really fun for us, we'll come back.
Yeah.
We'll go back. Like this isn't the last time we're there.
See, I don't do good with that.
We'll go back. We'll go back.
We need to exercise this moment. We need to appreciate this moment. We need to grow from this moment.
But that moment is found in being silent and being still.
Like tomorrow's not promised. We gotta go here.
But guess what? If I'm dead, who cares about going back to see that moment? I ain't gonna remember it no way. But in that moment, I'm tired. So guess what? We gonna go to the room. We gonna take a nap. We gonna go. We gonna go sit in. Like when we were in Mexico recently, and it was just like we wanted to spend time in the hot tub. Yeah, in our room, and that's what we did. We just went to the jacuzzi.
And you're helping me with being okay with
because you wanted to go and look at whales. Remember that?
I still do.
Remember they gave us the binoculars, and I looked down at the binoculars. And I was like, look at the whales from our room, which we paid for. But guess what? We didn't have to pay for a boat.
When we go back to Mexico, we're getting on a boat. You know that, right?
Who?
You didn't know that?
We get on a what?
Oh, I'm prepaying for it, babe, because that way.
So you know how to get me.
Yep.
If you prepay for it, then
he's like, we ain't losing no money. You go get on that boat.
I'm good. I'm good, love. Though I'm really good on the whole boat thing.
Oh my gosh! You told me next time we go back, we could get on a boat.
I wasn't talking about this time. No, I was talking about the next time we go back.
I'm booking it later today. All right, let's take a little break. Okay, we are back with burning the highlight reel. You got to burn that thing to the ground, y'all.
Walk with it.
I think we should just
walk with it.
I want you to, and I think that's why we get so surprised in our everyday life when we go through hard times, because we begin to compare our life to other people's. Like their life is so perfect. They don't go through hard times. They go through them. They just don't air them out on their podcast. You know what I mean?
Absolutely.
And everybody does. Y'all go through hard times. We go through hard times, but we depend on the Holy Spirit to get us through every single thing that we go through. And that's what we want to encourage you guys to do. It's real. Burn that thing to the ground. And then we need to rebuild a proper foundation with proper expectations. Obviously, we believe the best, but you know, when tests come, that resistance, it's good for your relationship because it's going to make it grow.
I ain't heard a word you were saying.
Why, baby?
I was looking at you. I ain't heard. Yep.
You're looking at me. What do you
resistance. I was admiring you.
Oh, thank you, baby.
Yep. But that part, whatever. You preached it. That's good right there, preached. I'm gonna do you in the Baptist church. That's so good. Oh, that was good. What'd he say? I don't know.
That you're buying me a handbag when we leave our podcast.
I know you didn't say that. I would have heard that. I would have heard that. You know what? I got you.
You got me.
I got you.
No, don't buy me a bag. Buy me stocks.
I like that.
Yeah, I don't
like that.
I got enough bags. Give me some stocks.
Oh, shuck it. I tell you, I got an even better one for you. Sell your bags and get you a stock.
I've done that.
I know.
You know I have. You know I have.
Which is really, really wise. But planning for the future. Amazing. But continue.
But yeah, what are ways that we could burn the highlight reel? I think the first one is...
You love that practice. That's one thing. I know we're going to get that from you. If you go get anything from Heather Lindsey, you go get, what are the ways
Let's get
that we can do this?
No, we need.
We don't have a number of ways. We're not going to say 10.
Okay, let's just 8. Give a couple tips.
Let's just give it.
I like that structure. In me, because to me that completes the podcast, because that gives them practical tips that they can walk away with. And you're like, get over it, which is weird because that's the opposite. The last podcast, you're trying to explain
what,
and I was like, it is what it is, and you wanted to explain. Now I want to explain.
No, I don't think that was. I think we're both seeking to explain. I think that yours was just like, what the Bible says, and my whole thing was, well, what does the Bible say? Because it's not in the Bible.
Okay, praise the Lord.
That was my whole thing. My whole thing. But
first thing is, I think is refusing to compare, and you have to ask yourself, what are we doing?
What is it? Ways to burn the highlight reel?
Ways that we can burn the highlight reel.
Gotcha.
So the first one is. Okay.
I am. I'm good now. I'm good now. Like I'm thinking.
Okay.
Okay. So you got to keep saying yours so I don't miss my thought.
So, I think that you have to ask yourself, like, what doors have you opened in your heart for comparison? And it might even be looking at somebody's relationship like, ooh, what prayer did she pray to get that man? You know what I mean? Like, you're creating this model in your head of this perfection that does not exist. And I feel like when we meet that person, then we're like, nope, he ain't it because he ain't do this, this, and this. Well, he might be it. And, you know, he's a believer. He loves Jesus, but to you, because he's not perfect, then he's not it. But you've got to give your relationship a chance to develop and grow as long as you guys meet each other's, you know, deal breakers, whatever the case is. But you have to ask yourself, what doors have I opened up? I even had to unfollow certain bloggers because they would really cause me to spend a lot of money. I would just buy new clothes every week. You know what I mean? And I didn't need it. You know what I mean? So one particular girl, and I never followed her again. It was like 5 years ago. But now I can follow them. I'm like, oh, that's cute. But I'm good on buying it. But I was being very influenced. So I had to step back and be honest with myself.
They're influencers.
Exactly. I mean, we're influencers in some ways too, with products that we can stand behind and believe in, practical stuff that we love. But when it came to clothes, I didn't need no more clothes. Yeah. You know what I mean? And I had to unfollow because that was a gate I opened up that caused comparison.
Right. Let me see.
Ways you can burn the highlight reel.
I believe that the things that we covet the most in others are the things that either we are too busy to build in ourselves.
That's good.
Or B, too insecure to see in ourselves.
Yeah.
So it's almost like in unison to what you were saying. If you're constantly looking at somebody else's life and you're like, okay, I covet that. Like, I wish I can have that. I wish I can have that.
I wish I looked like that. I need to get surgery. I need to get.
It's like every time you do that, you belittle.
Yeah, that's good.
And you don't take the time. Like, you know, it was funny. The guys at the gym were all talking, and there was another guy who was kind of in there, and he kind of came into the conversation. He said, you know, I wish I can, you know, look like y'all. And one of the guys who was talking with us looked over and he said, there's no reason why you can't.
That's right.
Said, the only way we got here was because of discipline and work. And he's like, you can do the same thing. And then we kind of encouraged him and stuff. That's like
nice.
That. But yeah. But it's like the things that you covet in somebody else, you're too lazy to do it for yourself, or you're too insecure to see it in yourself.
That's good.
And it's like your marriage could be real. Your marriage. I just had lunch with a guy who said this. He said, my marriage was fake.
Dang.
That's what he said.
Is he still married?
He said, no, he's not. He's not married anymore. But he was saying his marriage was fake. He said, you know, we always have beautiful pictures. We put up great pictures. He said, anytime you saw us in public, we were like cuddly and very warm, maybe kissing on each other. Like it was very, when it was in front of cameras. He said, but then the problem was when they got home, he said, as soon as they walked in the door, he said it immediately turned off. And he said she went to her side of the house. He went to his side of the house. He said the house was filled. It was just like, you know, he was sharing that part of his life that I thought was like, man, you know, it just made me think. He's like, it wasn't anything that was real. And I think that when you covet what somebody else has, you're not really taking the time to really focus on you and really focusing on your relationship. And then for those single people who don't have anybody to focus, you don't have a relationship to covet or have a relationship to focus on, that's a good opportunity for you to start focusing on yourself and start asking yourself the hard question, why do I care so much about somebody else's relationship? Like, you know, why do I care so much? I literally have people who come in there like, did you hear about this person's marriage? No, but here's the other thing. I don't care. You want to know why? Because I got my own marriage. I got 3 kids.
I
got my own thing.
I ain't got time to be wrapped up in nobody's gossip. I'm tired.
Or drama. Like, who gives a pile of crap? I got a dude, he's like, what you think about Carl Lentz? I love him. He's an amazing guy. I think he's an amazing pastor.
We're praying for his family.
Let me tell you something. Because you found out that he's human, now you have an opinion. The dude was the only thing that separates you from him is the fact that his stuff is public and yours isn't. So don't come to me with, what do you think about it? Like, that's just an opportunity for a conversation to gossip about something and about a situation you don't even know. So no.
I won't open up myself to that trash.
Don't open up yourself to it. But, you know, again, I kind of want to rabbit trail there. You got number 3 or is that
if
just
only we prayed as much as we gossiped.
Oh, shuckity duckity. That's a new one too. Hashtag shuckity duckity. I don't know how to spell it though, but hashtag shuckity.
I think the last one to kind of wrap it up, to like put a bow on it and make it really pretty. Cause like a pretty picture is just watering your own grass. Right. And it kind of goes with what you were saying.
I got one to end it too.
Oh,
do yours.
That's fine. I didn't know that you did, babe. So I just, again, instead of focusing on what other people's marriages, other people's life, other people's six pack, other people's whatever, let me do the hard work. Let me put that work in. Let me water my own grass. Let me not focus on everybody else's grass, but understand, okay, my grass is as green as I water it. I remember one time I was in the shower and I was talking to the Lord. I had just given birth to Taylor. And I'm like, dang, Lord, I just need a little bit of surgery. We could just cut this off right here. And he's like, why don't you just do some ab work or something, some strength training? I was like, excuse me? Did you just check me? Like when I say he checked me, he's like, why don't you just do some ab work? And I'm like, you know what? And you know what? I'm doing ab work, right?
It looks good. You look good.
Thank you, baby. But I feel like my body's totally changed, right? Because of my eating.
You look fly.
You look good.
You look good.
I don't know what swag. I don't know what song.
Wish they could.
I don't know what song. But I just feel like, I'm finally getting the results I want. But what am I doing differently? I'm working out every day now. Have you ever seen me work out every day in our marriage?
Sometimes you work out twice a day.
Exactly. And so I just feel like I'm finally putting the work in, and now my body is looking the way that I want it to look without surgery, without all those things. And so now it's changed. I feel like some people get surgery and you go get it because you think it's going to make you feel better, but you have not changed the habits and you haven't changed your mindset. Yeah. So now you've reversed everything you just paid for.
Yeah.
So it's important that we get our hearts right.
I think the last thing is, I guess the thing is, before I explain a little bit, is burn the highlight reel. You have to legit burn it.
Where's our fire?
And in burning it, what I mean by that is practically is that you need to deal with your own issues. You need to deal with your own trauma. Babe. Like people, we are not dealing with our issues.
So good.
We are self-medicating, and we don't realize that social media is self-medication. It is. We have numbing mechanisms that we use to numb our pain because we don't want to deal with our pain. We don't want to deal with the past. We don't want to deal with those things. And for some people, it's like, well, I can't watch you and your wife argue because that triggered when I watch my mama and my daddy argue. Well, number one, we're not your mama and your daddy. Yeah. And number two, you need to deal with the trauma from your mama and your daddy. You need to talk to your mama and your daddy. And if mama or daddy are gone, you probably need to talk to a therapist and figure out why that still is a trigger for you. Yeah. And then you need to deal with the trigger. You don't need to deal with the people. You need to deal with your own triggers. That's why they're your triggers.
That's so good.
I wish we, but it's America. America, we are extremely plastic society. Mm-hmm. We love to dictate policy to the rest of the world. We love to tell other people in other countries what they're not doing right and look at what we're doing right. We love to be the policeman of the world. We love to, I mean, and it's ingrained in our society. It's ingrained in us. Yeah. And then in certain situations, in certain classes of people, in certain races, they like to look down on other people, so on and so forth. And it gets to that point where we feel like we got it all together, but we never deal with the issues. Like one thing I try to tell people, for Black Americans, there's no way that you can take a group of people and you take them away from their natural land, from their from the place by which they had roots, from the place by which they had culture, from the place by which all of that derived. You take them and then you put them on foreign soil. You strip them of culture. You strip them of identity. You strip them of everything. Don't even get a birth certificate. You give them nothing that calls them who they are. And then from that, you enslave them. Then the only semblance of freedom that you give them comes along. The only semblance of freedom that you give them comes along with rules that makes them still second class, third class, fourth class citizens. So you go from slavery, you go through Jim Crow, you go through other discrimination. So you go through all of those things. And then now you get to a point where people say, well, I don't understand why y'all just can't be happy, or why you can't be this. Or I'll hear people say this. Well, Black folk, they spend trillions millions of dollars on clothes. Well, what do you expect from a group of people who don't really have an identity that's rooted in anything? They don't have an identity. So unfortunately, Gucci becomes who I think I am because that's the only thing of value that I actually have this in my head that's sitting in the house. When I live in a house that is government owned, I live in a house that where my food and groceries come from the government, and all I have, and you know, you got a $300 Gucci belt, and that's valuable to you. Of course, I'm gonna rock it because in my mind, that's the only thing of value that now ascribes to my identity. Because I have never had anybody else to ascribe an identity to me. I didn't have a father in the house to tell me what kind of man I'm supposed to be. So why else you think I need to sleep with all these other women, all these other people in order for me to find a semblance of manhood? So people, we have a trauma issue, and we're trying to medicate. We're having arguments in our country about Medicare so that we can give people pharmaceutical drugs, so that we can continue practicing a sense of witchcraft, that we can give people something to help numb the pain. I'm not going to help you deal with the pain. I'm just going to help you numb it. I'm not gonna give you anything that's gonna help to eradicate it. I want you to numb it. So we're just numbing people, and then we sit around and we comment about other people's lives because that helps us to numb our pain. It helps us to feel better because all of a sudden I told you how I felt when the person who you told will never read it and does not care because they're still living a very happy life while you go home and you live in misery. All I'm saying is don't spend the rest of your life miserable.
Where's the offering?
Deal with your trauma.
Where's the offering?
Deal with you. You got to deal with you. But I think this is really good. I'm glad you told me.
Yes. That's going to be the highlight for this show because that was amazing. That was so good, babe. Wow.
I love you.
That was powerful. I love you too. That was intense.
But y'all, we love y'all.
Yeah, we love you. Thank you guys for watching and just listening. And we want you to know, like, we appreciate every download, every support, every view, whether you agree or not. It's okay. Your disagreement.
Still watched it.
And you're here, and we're thankful for that. And we seriously, our agency is just so blown away by the growth of our podcast. And I feel like we need to go on a podcast tour when the world opens back up. Wouldn't that be fun? How would we
You said we. You speaking French?
What you mean we? I'm going to go by myself. Life with the Lindseys. Hey, y'all. It's just Heather.
Wouldn't
that be fun? A podcast tour? Baby. Oh, really?
COVID. So when the world open back up.
Is it really COVID?
Even after they get this vaccine, which I ain't taking, but even after they get this vaccine up out here, I still gonna be like, yo, 6 feet.
But I do think a tour would be fun.
Do you think a tour would be fun?
I think it would be fun.
It'd be cool.
Yeah,
it'd be cool. Like cool. I think like a room that's an intimate setting, like, you know, no more than maybe like 30 or 40 people. And then like
I think more than 30 or 40 people are going to show up.
No, I'm just, but I would like more of an intimate setting where like 30 or 40 people. So we just
sell it out real fast?
Well, just like 30, 40 people. And then that way we're able to, you know, have a podcast, have a conversation, but then have some inclusion of like the crowd, be able to take questions and stuff like that.
And that would be fun.
It makes it a lot better than like sitting in a theater and like being watched. It's like, well, let's really have some dialogues. And you have married couples who are sitting in front of us and engaged couples who are like, I saw that one podcast y'all did where y'all were arguing or y'all were doing this. Like break that down for me. Like, how is that? Because that happens in my marriage. That's more of a connection.
Yeah.
But you know, I'm about smaller crowds. I'm introverted. I don't like all them big crowds. I'd be like, no, I don't fool with y'all like that. Because then, you know, people be, never mind. Let me shut up. All right. I appreciate
We'll keep you all posted on the date.
Yeah, keep us posted. And also, so y'all don't know this. Well, y'all probably do, but I also have a political podcast called Silent Majority.
It's so good.
It's seasonal. So the season is actually coming to a close. I think the season, we have like 2 or 3 more weeks.
Yeah. Cause the political season's starting to go down on it.
I mean, there's still a lot of stuff to talk about, but I'm tired. But starting in January, I'm actually going to be launching a brand new podcast. Can you believe that?
Wow.
I know. I'm launching a brand new podcast and it's entitled To Be Honest.
Ooh, can I be on it?
Well, no, it's just with Cornelius and Lindsey, but you can be on as a guest.
Wait, that's what I mean, babe.
Oh, yeah, as a guest.
Oh my gosh, as a guest.
Yeah, as a guest, because it gives me an opportunity to be honest
about.
I want to be honest. Like I want to talk about as a pastor.
I want to be. Can I talk about being a first lady?
Oh, An only
Can I
lady.
talk about only lady? Can I talk about
like the
that?
expectations that people put, and like, because a lot of times you always hear from other people like, this is how they treat, this how they do this how they do that. But from
Pastor abuse is real.
But like,
That's all I gotta
from
say.
a pastor's point of view, it's like, are you sure that I did you wrong, or did you not? It's like it gives
Or did
an
I stop
opportunity
giving
for-
everything to you, and then now you mad because you can't use me anymore? So then you go online.
So then it's like, it gives me an opportunity to be honest. But I want to be honest about a myriad of things. I think
I love that.
I have conversations with some of my guys, and we are just brutally honest. And
That
I
sounds
walk away from
intense.
those conversations, and I'm
I'm
like,
here for
yo,
it.
that's good. Why ain't that recorded? So talk to the
do it.
agency. They're going to give me another
Yes.
podcast.
You are killing it,
called
babe.
To Be Honest. So y'all I'm going to give y'all more information to
So
check
it's
all
a
that
whole
stuff out.
different subscription.
Whole different subscription, but it's going to be coming out, so don't worry about it. Make sure you have all the information. And also, you already know, if you want to get anything from me and my wife, check us out on touchpoint.tv. Touchpoint, like touch point, TOUCH.
We're having a date night too.
Point, POINT.TV. Yeah, we having a date night. So if you are
Engaged,
if you're engaged,
courting,
what is a date
or
for that? You
single,
remember?
December 10th, I think. But
Showed.
sign up. It's totally free. But we're doing a date night where we're going to be tackling some really important topics.
Hold on, let me get the date. Let me get the date.
What's the date, Asha? You know the date?
Oh, sniz up. I don't see it. You see it?
Keep going up.
I'm going. You see it?
Mm-mm.
Jesus.
If they just go to touchpoint.tv, I think it's December 10th.
Just go to
I'm pretty sure.
Oh, here it goes right here. December the 11th.
Oh, oops.
December the 11th at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. December 11th at 9:00 p.m. Eastern time. Touchpoint.tv. That's how you register. It is going to be a free thing. Me and my wife are going to be talking. It's going to be
So
really
excited.
good, and it's going to be great. So,
And if you're on YouTube, just click the link. We're going to put it on there for you.
God bless y'all.
Bye, y'all.
Bye.